this pandemic. Breaking connections to the world. Empowering language on humanity. Let's bring the world of learning in one channel. Welcome to Business Combinations English TV!
Hello, magandang buhay, discussions, and to other dear students. This is Mamay for another fruitful learning episode in English 10. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring that notification bell in our channel, DCBS Emanations English TV. We are now in the 5th week of the last quarter in your Pivot 4A Learner's Pocket, and I would like to congratulate you for making it this far. This week's lesson is about reviewing subject and verb agreement. And our most essential learning competency is to observe correct grammar in making definitions. Let's start our lesson with this simple question. Why do you think grammar checking is important? Grammar checking is significant for the exactness and quality of content in one's writing. Also, grammar is important because it provides information that helps the reader's comprehension. Let's analyze this sentence. The COVID-19 pandemic posed a significant economic challenge in the world. This sentence is grammatically incorrect because the main subject, pandemic, does not agree with the verb pose. Let's try to correct it. The COVID-19 pandemic poses a significant economic challenge in the world. This time, the singular subject, pandemic, agrees with its verb because the verb is now in singular form. Because you see, just like our socks and shoes, the subject and verb of a sentence have to match and agree with each other, thus making our sentence construction grammatically acceptable. It is essential to master the rules governing subject-verb agreement following verb basics. This involves the helping verbs. We have verbs to be. The singular forms are am, is, and was. In plural form, we have are and were. Then we have verbs to do. We use does if the subject is singular and the main verb is in present tense. Do if the subject is plural, also in present tense. And did if the verb is in past tense. Did may be used either in singular or plural subject. And we have verbs to have. Has if the subject is singular and the main verb is in present tense. Have is used if the subject is plural and the main verb is also in present tense. Then we have had. Had is used in past tense. Had, just like did, may be used either in singular or plural subject. Now here's an overview of the general rules for subject-verb agreement. The first basic rule is that if you have a singular subject or only one in count, of course, you have to use the S form or the singular form of the verb. For example, if your subject is the singular pronoun she or a proper noun like fiel, then you will add S to the action word dance. That makes it dances. Or if you are using helping verbs, you may use the singular verbs like is, was, does, and has. The second main rule is that if the subject is plural, then you will use a plural verb also. For example, if your subject is plural, they, or proper nouns fiel and bre, then you should use a plural verb that is without s or es. For example, sing and dance. This is what you call the base form of the verb. If you will use helping verbs, use the plural forms like are, were, do, and have. The third one is when your subject is the pronoun you. Regardless of its count, whether you are referring to a singular or plural subject, the pronoun you always take the plural form of the verb. Remember that the plural form of the verb in action word is without s or es, or the so-called base form. And for helping verbs, you may use are, were, do, and have, for these are plural forms of verbs be. Let's have an example. You love her that much. Now, there are three main types of verbs. They are action, linking, and helping verbs. The action verb tells what action something or someone is performing. For example, read, write, and walk. The second type are the linking verbs. They connect a noun or a pronoun within a word that identifies or describes it. For example, am, is, are, was, and were. The linking verbs do not express action. They simply connect or link the subject of the verb to the additional information about the subject. Then we have the helping verbs, also known as auxiliary verbs. They are added before another verb to make it a verb phrase. For example, do, does, has, and have. Auxiliary verbs help the main verb to describe action. The action that happened in the past or is happening in present time or will happen in the future. Now take note that these are just few examples under each type of the verb. There are still other examples under each type. Okay, I guess you are now ready to review the basic rules in subject-verb agreements. Rules number 1 and 2 refer to the two main general rules that I told you a while ago. That is, singular subject takes or uses singular verb and plural subject takes plural verb. Always remember those two cardinal rules, okay? In rule number 3, when the subject of the sentence is composed of two or more nouns or pronouns connected by the conjunction and, then you have to use a plural verb. Here's the example. The doctoral student and committee members write every day. Here, we have two or compound subjects, student and members. That's why we use the plural verb write. Rule number 4. When there is one subject and more than one verb, the verbs throughout the sentence must agree with the subject. For example, interviews are one way to collect data and allow researchers to gain in-depth understanding of participants. Here, we have the plural subject, interviews. That's why the two verbs are and allow are both plural in form. Then we have rule number 5. Intervening words like together with, in addition to, along with, as well as, including, and similar constructions following the subject do not affect the number of the subject. For example, the student as well as the committee members is excited. Here, the intervening words as well as the committee members should not be paid attention because our main subject in this sentence is the student, which is singular. That's why singular helping verb is used. Then we have rule number 6. When two or more singular nouns or pronouns are connected by or nor, use a singular verb. For example, the chairperson or the CEO approves the proposal before proceeding. If the subject is connected by the words or nor, use the S form or singular verb. Rule number 7. When a compound subject contains both a singular and plural noun or pronoun joined by or nor, the verb should agree with the part of the subject that is closest to the verb. Thus, this is what we call rule of proximity. Let's have some examples. The first example, the student or the committee members write every day. Here, the closer or closest subject to the verb is members. And members happen to be a plural subject. That's why we use the plural verb write. In the second example, the committee members or the student writes every day. This time, singular subject student is closer to the verb. Thus, it takes or uses the singular verb writes. Now we go to rule number 8. The words and phrases each one, either, everyone, everybody, anyone, anybody, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one are singular, and they require a singular verb. Just like the examples given, each, neither, and everybody, they all mean singular. That's why in all these 3 sentences, take note, it is using a singular verb was. Then we go to rule number 9. Non-count nouns take a singular verb. Non-count nouns are the nouns that cannot be counted, just like music, coffee, and milk, and knowledge. Also, there are more examples that you can think of. Now let's have some examples. Education is the key to success. Diabetes affects many people around the world. Education and diabetes are non-count nouns, or the nouns that cannot be counted. That's why in each sentence, it is using singular verb is and affects. Let's proceed to rule number 10. Some countable nouns in English, such as earnings, goods, odds, surroundings, proceeds, contents, and valuables, only have a plural form. That's why they take a plural verb. This time, let's talk about countable nouns, or the nouns that can be counted. Countable nouns may take singular or plural verb. But in this case, if nouns or subjects refer to more than one or plural in count, just like in the example given, earnings, use the plural verb exceed. The earnings for this quarter exceed expectations. Earnings can be counted. Rule number 11. In sentences beginning with there is or there are, the subject follows the verb. Since there is not a subject or not the subject, the verb agrees with what follows the verb. So basically, here in rule number 11, the use of is and are depends on the next word or subject that follows. For example, there is refers to the singular subject support. There are refers to the plural subject factors. Is that clear? Now we go to the next rule. Rule number 12. A collective noun acting as a single unit takes a singular verb. However, the plural verb is used when the individual is the focus, like the individuals in the group. In rule number 12, it involves the use of a collective noun. So what is a collective noun? It is the name we give to a group of nouns or subjects and refer them as one entity. Here are a few examples of collective nouns. We have class, army, team, band, etc. Let's have some examples. The group meets every week. In this example, the group meets every week. The collective noun group refers to a single unit acting as one. That makes it singular using the singular verb meets. In the second example, the committee participate in various volunteer activities in private lives. The committee here are referring to the individuals or members in the collective noun committee and are referred to not acting as one or as one group. That makes the committee a plural subject. That's why we are going to use the plural verb participate. Then we go to rule number 13. In the present tense, verbs agree with their subjects in number, singular or plural, and in person, whether it's in first person, second, or third person. In the first person, it is the narrator that is the speaker or the one telling the story. I'm talking about first person point of view. Here, the keywords are the pronouns I, me, we, my, our, and ours. In the second person, the author or narrator is telling the story to you, the reader. For example, in here, the keywords are you, your, and yours. And in the third person, the author or narrator is telling the story, but he is not part of the story. It can be omniscient or limited view. In the third person point of view, the examples of personal pronouns are he, she, it, they, them, their, and theirs. Now we go to rule number 14. A few indefinite pronouns such as all, any, none, and some may be singular or plural depending on the noun or pronoun they refer to. In these examples, some of the apples were sold. Apples is a plural subject, thus using the plural verb were. In the second example, some of the flour was spilled. Flour is a non-countable word that makes it singular. That's why we use the singular verb was. Now we go to rule number 15. Titles of works, story, article, or establishments, even when plural in form, takes a singular subject. For example, BSP Enterprises is owned by Mr. Santos. Here, BSP Enterprises is just a single title of a business firm. That's why a singular verb be is used. Then in rule number 16, when adjectives or describing words are used as subjects, remember, you are going to use plural verbs. Just like in this example, the brave are honored. Brave is an adjective using the plural verb are. In rule number 17, it refers to the use of fractions as part of the subject in the sentence. Fractions may take singular or plural verbs depending on the of phrase. Here, you don't pay attention to the fraction, but in the of phrase instead. Let's have some examples. 2/3 of the school's population speaks Pangalatok. Here, the main subject in this sentence is population, which is part of the of phrase of the school's population. And since population is singular, it takes the singular verb speaks. Then we have another example. 2/3 of the children are in grade school. In the of phrase of the children, the main subject is children, which is plural, using the plural verb are. Then we have rule number 18. Words or phrases expressing periods of time, weight, measurement, and amount of money are usually regarded as singular. If the subject is expressing periods of time, weight, measurement, amounts of money, and as I have mentioned, they are all regarded as singular. Just like in these examples. 5 years is a long engagement period. 9,000 pesos is the prize money. The period of time 5 years and the amount of money 9,000 pesos are both singular subjects using singular be verb is. Yes, we're almost done. In rule number 19, the expression the number takes a singular verb, while the expression a number takes a plural verb. Let's take a look in these examples. The number of applicants is big. The expression the number refers to a singular subject using singular verb is. Next, a number of applicants are very young. A number is an expression referring to a plural subject. That's why the plural verb are is used. And finally, in rule number 20, nouns plural in form but singular in meaning takes a singular verb. Here are the examples of some nouns plural in form but singular in meaning. We have mathematics, physics, politics, missiles, and others. Let's have a sample sentence. Statistics is showing an increase in inflation. The subject statistics, though it ends in S, it only means singular using the singular be verb is. And that's it. To sum up all the 20 rules in subject-verb agreement that we have just discussed, just remember these 3 main general rules, okay? Number 1, singular subject takes singular verb, plural subject takes plural verb, and the pronoun you always use the plural verb. Now we proceed in our learning activities. In learning task 1, you're going to determine whether the pronoun in bold type is in first, second, or third person. Write first if it is in a first person pronoun, second if it is in second person pronoun, or third if it is in a third person pronoun. In learning task number 2, identifying number in nouns and pronouns, read each word, then write whether the word is singular, plural, or both. Learning task number 3, identifying number in verbs. Read each group of words, then write whether the underlined verb is singular or plural. Learning task number 4 is entitled Singular and Plural Subjects. Match the 2 parts of the sentence and join them together with is or are. Number 1 has been done for you as an example. Do the same for the remaining sentences. And then, for learning task number 7, circle the verb in parentheses that agrees with the subject. Then, on the blank space, indicate the number of the SVA rule applied in each sentence. Carefully review your answers based on the list provided in the introduction. Here, I suggest that you copy the 10 sentences. And so, once again, we are your grade 10 English teachers, Ma'am Myra F. Arellano, Sir Larry Boy H. Bautista, Ma'am Marizel D. Quintos, and Ma'am Griselda B. Gomez saying, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and remember that you are blessed and worthy. And more importantly, don't forget to live your life, laugh, and spread love. Bye for now, and see you in our next learning episode only here in Disibel's MNHS English TV.